Ding! This is a View from the Bridge, official podcast of the Belfast Giants for kingdomofthegiants.com. Today's Tuesday, 26th of April, 2022. My name is Patrick Smith. We are live on YouTube, Facebook, and on Twitter. You can also download us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Anchor FM, and a load more of your normal podcast providers. On this week's show, an odd weekend in the Premier Sports Elite League playoffs as seeds 1, 3, 5, and 7 progress to the next weekend's final showdown at the NIC in Nottingham, leaving seeds 2, 4, 6, and 8 even more sad to have had their season ended so soon. We're going to look back at the very tight affair against the Coventry Blaze. Tyler Beskorowany is our guest on the fan agenda, so we're going to need your questions. Aaron Murphy chatted just ahead of the coverage of this weekend's festivities on Premier Sports. I'm trying to bully Omar Pasha to come and join us and give us 5 minutes of his time. Let's see how that goes. If you see me on my phone, it's me just bullying him. If he joins us, we'll, of course, have a chat with him. And we'll look ahead to the weekend and the first game against the Dundee Stars and all that's going to go ahead this weekend at Nottingham in the playoff finals. If you're watching us live on Facebook or on YouTube, send us your thoughts, comments, questions, anything like that, and we'll share them on screen and maybe get involved in a bit of a discussion. David, as you take a big drink there, how are you?
Taking a sip of my noble water there, Paddy.
Nice.
I'm not bad. I like what you did with the odd and even there things. I didn't even know that.
Thank
That
you.
was outstanding. Well played.
Thank you.
That's very good.
Yes.
I'm not bad, mate. Bit under pressure, a wee bit under pressure with home life here, and had to dive in. This live stuff is great because it means we've less to do afterwards, especially you for editing. But
it means more before.
It means more before, and we have to be on time. And through the whole winter. We'll meet at 9, boys.
We started about 20 past,
half 10, whatever.
The amount of messages we sent to players saying, just 15 more minutes. Just join us 15 more minutes.
Davy's putting the kids to bed, yes.
That sort of thing.
So thanks for bearing with me there, people. Thanks.
No problem, but it's good to be live. Simon, you've been around the place with the trophies.
Yeah, yesterday it was busy, and then Laura had it out today. I woke this morning and felt like crap, to be honest. And it wasn't, got to get out your work. It's, no point in sitting in the house, so you got to get out your work. But felt crap all day. But I'm sure you two clampets will cheer me up at night by something. I had a nap when I got home from work, in fairness, as well, which was nice.
You had a nap?
3 hours.
What? 3 hours? That's not a nap. That's a sleep.
Yeah, I didn't sleep last night. I really didn't feel great.
There's nights I get less than 3 hours, and you're calling that a nap.
I like a nap, David. I like a nap. What can I say?
Well, you look nice and fresh, to be fair to you. So.
I don't feel fresh. I put some makeup up before I come on. I've got just check your Twitter, David, because we always like to welcome you on the Twitter. Good lad. For anybody that's watching, and 99 times out of 100, it's always Davy's fault that we're late. So we're just apologising out there. Thanks.
Yes, Davy's been busy cutting videos of both games. Davy's busy doing stats, and Davy's busy trying to look after his children. So come on, I'm doing my best.
I'm glad you got the priorities right. Cutting video, doing stats, and then looking after the kids. Top quality.
Your video is very good. Or your message is very good, Sam. Like, very droll. Well played. I'll give it a like. You're just like hunting now.
Before we get stuck into the weekend's games, a few parish notices. First of all, it's the 26th of April. Very happy birthday to the one and only Adam Keefe. Do we sing? Happy birthday.
Birthday to you.
This never goes well. To you. Happy birthday, dear Keefe. Happy birthday to you. Didn't go too badly. So big happy birthday to the coach, and let's hope there's a good birthday present this weekend. And final parish notice comes from me, a personal one. Big thank you to everybody over the last couple of weeks have been donating to the Northern Ireland Hospice for the cycle I'm doing this weekend. We've had a really great response from, as you expect from the hockey community, and really appreciate it. So thank you very much. You can follow us on @PatrickSmith, and we'll do some videos and stuff so you can see the pain that I'll be going through this weekend while a lot of people will be enjoying drinks in Nottingham. And we also have that picture from Badly Drawn EIHL of David Goodwin holding up the Elite League trophy off the EasyJet flight. Stay tuned AVFTB on Twitter. I'll be putting up tomorrow how you can buy a raffle ticket for just £1 and get your hands on that authentic piece, that masterpiece that was there. And with that, oh no, there's one more. Yes, we got the KOTG Player of the Year. Keep voting. It's open till Wednesday night. The KOTG Player MVP at AVFTB. You'll see that at KOTG. You'll see that. Keep voting in that, and we'll see who becomes the MVP. Can Tyler Beskorowany retain it for the second season in a row that it's been contested? And with that, let's get stuck in to the to this week's this weekend's games. Let me just pull up the information. Of course, the Belfast Giants undertook a quarterfinal against the Coventry Blaze. Let's go through the statistics straight away. And we'll start with that first game. In the Sky Dome, it was 2-2. It was Darcy Murphy who opened the scoring. It was hit back by Yanni Kivaladi to make it 1-1 in the third period. Giants did take the lead again, Slater Doggett in 55:04 before Nathaniel Halbert made it 2-2 for the end of the first leg. Tyler Beskorowany, 25 shots on. Sorry, that's the wrong one. Tyler Beskorowany, 33 shots on, 2 goals against. And CJ Mott, 25 shots on, 2 goals against. Referee were Tom Perring. And the best referee from the Northeast, as his mother told me, and a big hello. That is, of course, Steve Brown. On this game, Davy, you were there. An exciting back and forth game.
I was teed out. I have to thank Jason Taffellery for looking after me so well, and Kelly and Mark as well, who looked after me all day long. But it was a bit of a funny old game. There was a lot to like for parts of the game, and there was a lot to really dislike for parts of the game. I thought that probably through the first period, we did enough to be in the lead that we'd taken. Really, really well-crafted goal from Ben Lake driving the slot there. One of a few times during the game where we made CJ Mott move. I think most of the time we were hitting him front and center, and he was looking really strong with his glove, especially where we were shooting on that glove side, and he was just pucking cherries. But this particular goal here where Laker just drives between the two D-men and Darcy Murphy's following it up to pop it in there. We kind of then seemed to run into the second period. I still think that it was a bit of a track meet. The Coventry Blaze chipped and chased all night long. I'm sure. I didn't look at it, but I think there were 79 face-offs in the game, something like that. You know, the Coventry Blaze chipped it all night long and just went foot races to try and get in behind the Belfast Giants D, and it kind of wore us down, and we ran out of energy. It seemed, and we ran out of a bit of when they scored their equaliser. Keeper pulled the timeout straight away, and to try and give the boys a bit of a G up. Where's the energy? Where's the intensity? Where's the effort levels here? We seemed to get that goal up and think maybe that was going to be game over for us. We lost a few battles in the corner that conceded the 2 goals. I think Simon will probably talk about their second goal, but I think there's 3 guys go in towards the puck, and it leaves JJ. Goody's coming down the right wing as well at that time to defend. So almost 4 guys are planted on the one side of the ice, and JJ's they center, and JJ's left alone to try and defend the puck, which he does, and then the rebound goes to the free man. I can't remember who scores it. Halbert, yeah. I think scores the equaliser to give them a bit of hope going into Belfast. There's been games there this season. I think we've beat them 5-1, 6-1, 7-1 over three different games. So and you've seen the other week there, the blew out Nottingham, but they got blew out themselves by a lot of goals. So when they can keep it tight, they're a difficult team. We've had games against them this season where it's been tight. They just swarmed us. Their energy levels and their compete level across the 7 periods actually, when we had the play or the overtime as well. I just thought that they played desperate. They played for their lives. They played playoff hockey, and it's really condescending to say credit to them. They stuck with the champions, etc. But they took us the whole way, and that game was on Scott Conway's stick on Sunday night for us to be one of those guys that fell at the playoff stage, so at the quarterfinal stage. So you got to give them a lot of credit for their battle and their intensity and their work rate. And if we play like that this weekend, we'll not be bringing any silverware home with us.
It's interesting because I've written those in my notes, Simon, that we did seem off, but worked hard to keep in it.
Yeah, as I say, I tweeted out there on Sunday night, I think it was, and said that it certainly wasn't two of our best performances this season, but we still found a way to win. And that's what champions do. So, it's important to, that there's always going to be critique from fans who are not happy with performances. The guys won't be happy with performance either. Even the Sunday performance, it's about being, we made a lot of mistakes. Davy touched on what Coventry were doing, just banging off the glass and trying to win the foot race. That's all they did. I mean, that is all they did. How many times did they ice the puck in a row on Monday and Sunday afternoon in Belfast? It's there's no way they could beat us with a skill, and we've got far much more speed than them. There's no doubt about that. And every time we got the puck through the middle, they clogged up the centre. So apart from the time when Ben Lake, drove right through Main Street and Darcy followed up, but I thought that firstly, I actually wanted to say I thought the officials all weekend were really good. They let both teams play. Yes, you're always going to get mistakes, but I just thought they were decent. I have no problem at all with calls that aren't being made as long as it's across the board and they let the guys play. Playoff hockey's hard and it's tough. It's not, it's not meant to be easy to win championships. And I know, right, the championship in the UK is the easiest trophy to win because it's only 4 games and technically you only need to win 3 of them to come out champions. So it's one of those ones where you just want to let the guys play. And I thought they did that for the majority of the weekend. With regards to what we did, we weren't good. It wasn't our best performances. We probably did it a couple of years ago as well when we won the league. In the 80 season a few years ago, we won the league at a canter and was sort of switched off. And I thought was sort of switched off this weekend. I thought that that we certainly had a lot of opportunities over the weekend. There's no doubt about that. A lot of the shots that we were making on Mott were sort of right into his chest. Davy touched on but didn't make him move enough. And again, look, these guys don't need me to tell them that. And a couple individual errors, and you get that play there, especially that we're watching on the webcast now. You're sucking 3 guys into the corner, and you've got 1 Coventry Blaze player, which means it's 5-on-5. You're leaving 2 other guys out there on their own, and that's exactly what happened. They got the puck in the front of the net and they scored. And even on the first one, the puck comes across from right to left. I think it's longer, sort of it's right through his skates, and it's a difficult one because it's not as if it's passed through. It's zipped through the slot, and the guy gets a touch at the back end. Without Besko, and I know he's coming on short. I don't know if he's sitting in the background at the minute, but without Besko at the weekend, we're gone.
Yep,
we are gone. He was absolutely brilliant all weekend.
Fully agree.
And he really kept us in. And Davy, as I say, Davy was there, so I didn't get to watch the whole match on Saturday night. I actually watched it back when I got home from work. But Davy was there on Saturday night, and from what I seen on the webcast, I thought he was brilliant.
He kept Belfast in it as much as CJ Mott kept Coventry. And I think on Sunday I certainly a lot more grade A chances on Sunday, and it took something special to beat him on Sunday. It took a bit of a, so he's not even putting the puck on that. He's putting the puck into the crease and hoping that somebody's coming in there, and it's taking a bit of a bounce to beat him, and then it's gone to penalty shots. And look at the 2 goaltenders even through the penalty shots, which we'll obviously come on to. But
let's come on to
that. I'll roll VT for Sunday, Paddy, or do you want to do?
Well, let me give the stats first before we go into that. It was a 2-1 win on shootout for Belfast Giants and made a 4-3 on aggregate. It was the opening goal. Both goals in open play came in the second period. Tyler Soy on 25:52, but Connor Chalk hit back a little over 2 minutes later to make it 1-1 through the game, and that was the sort of intensity and tightness that we had. It drew the frustration, drew the anxiety up within the arena that led all the way to penalty shots. JJ Pikanich with the deemed to be the winning goal in the shootout, but Pikanich's goal equally as good as the equaliser, which we'll come to, of course, from Scott Conway, which kept the Giants in it. With regards to the goalkeepers in that game, Tyler Beskorowany, 25 shots on, 1 goal against. CJ Mott, the other side, 39 shots on, 1 goal against. Liam Sewell and Andy Dalton were your referees. Simon, I'll just go back to you, David. It was a difficult game.
And look, play tightens up in the playoffs, and once it gets into that sort of later stage of the game, people don't want to make a mistake, so the game naturally tightens up then, and you're starting to play more cautious hockey than we've maybe played at times. I see Stephen Mills commenting here that Coventry played great hockey. I'm not so sure that Coventry played great hockey, as Coventry played a great system. They did exactly the same on Sunday afternoon, the matinee performance, as they did on Saturday night. They just wanted to win battles, and credit to them for doing that. They just kept going. It's a pretty skilled play for them to score the goal. I think that's second period, isn't it? The scored, and I think we get kind of caught longer, and Rupert again going down and both get sort of dragged that puck, and it's a little sauce pass from Blutoff right into the middle there, and I can't remember who you said scored for them now.
It was
but he does that,
Connor Chalk.
He does that backhand move onto Besko, and it's one of those ones that pops up over his pad as well. Both goals against the goaltenders are almost fluke goals, if you like, but put the puck in net, and sometimes that happens, and then the game really tightened up. Were we under pressure there? Yeah, of course. And Simon has said, champions find a way. I don't know who quoted that one the other season there, but the guys all season long have been usually in games. I think it was on last week's podcast, about the amount of games that have gone to overtime and the penalty shots that we have converted into victories this season. And that's because you've got, and I think Kevin Rain mentioned it on Scott Conway's penalty shot, it's an elite level move. We've got elite finishers. JJ Pickenich, David Goodwin, Scott Conway coming up with the 3 penalty shot goals, which are going to play in a minute here. But let Simon come on and have his word. There's the goal where Rayner said almost. I think Rayner sort of said that the Rupper at that stage take the middle, but it's too late for that. But it's one of those ones. He goes to say forehand, backhand, and Besko has it, and you just see it there. It just flips up, and unfortunately, as Besko squeezes the pads, it just hits the heels of the skates and goes in. So, Coventry kept it close, and they kept everything. I said 70 face-offs on Saturday night. They're at kind of something similar on Sunday. They came with a game plan to spoil, and I'm not being critical of them. They came with a game plan, and they did. They executed to perfection. They've taken the champions who have scored, I think it was 40 goals past them this season. They've taken them to overtime across 2 games. And Simon said about, we didn't win on Saturday night. Effectively, we didn't win on Sunday either. Both games were draws. We've came through on penalty shots. All to play for next weekend, but we need to have a bit more jump about us. Those first periods that we've been sensational in, down the stretch, down the dog days, down the stretches, as some of the boys have commented on them. We've came out the really fast starts, and you only need to look at what the Dundee Stars did to the Sheffield Steelers late in the game to know that they're not going to be any pushover. Pash has had his win this season against us, and he'll be gunning for us this weekend.
I'm seeing a few comments coming in there, Simon, about Rayner. How much of a presence do we miss with Rayner being out?
Massive. We know what Rayner brings to the table, but he's a big part of our defensive unit this year and the last couple of years. He plays big minutes. He plays, especially on the PK. He puts in a lot he makes a lot of blocks. You take all those blocks out of the equation. It makes it a lot harder to. There's some guys who don't want to say that don't sacrifice their bodies as much, but that's one of Rayner's big pluses that he has. I mean, he's led every year that he's played for Belfast. I think, Davey, hasn't he, on the blocking side?
It's only something we've been counting over the last number of years, but certainly the years Rayner's been here. What is it, 720 or something this season?
Something like that. Yeah, I think it's something. I mean, from your stats that you put together, and when you lose that means Besko's got a lot more saves, and it's not just when he's on the ice and he's doing his own thing. It's the partnership that he has with Sam. It's that everybody else in front of him know that, okay, Rayner's behind me there, I can go. Whereas there's some other guys that are maybe not as confident as going deep compared to what they are with Rayner, because they know he's going to sit there. How many times have you seen Rayner pass the hash marks going the other way? Not very often, because he knows that's not his role. If he's going to get a goal, he's going to get a goal from the blue line. So his job is to basically stay at home defense. When Sam needs to go, he can go. And Adam's always saying, look, guys, you get a chance to go. Don't be worrying about what's in behind you, because there's always guys taking responsibility. That third man who's always sitting that little bit higher, and he can jump in behind and cover for Rayner, or sorry, for whoever it is. But yeah, we definitely missed him, and I'll keep on saying to him when he's on Giants TV for the last couple of games with me, I'd much rather have him on the ice.
Before we move on, we've got a man waiting in the wings, so we're gonna add in just a few minutes, but just want to have a note about him, because it's all well and good, and there's been a lot of we've mentioned him earlier on, and there was a lot of plaudits to Scott Conway's finish. Absolutely stunning. I pointed out on Twitter, my favorite part of it is actually the silence just before it goes in. You can hear the crowd go, 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 and then silence, and then everybody goes nuts. And that's those little silences where everybody has a collective. It's just beautiful. Go on, Simon.
You're absolutely right, because where our comedy position is, the goalie's obviously, the way the puck he did the Forsberg, he put it up around the goalie's left and his right. I couldn't see the puck. I literally couldn't see the puck going in, and even I was going, I'm sure literally taking a bit of a deep breath to make sure he gets that goal in. And but I mean, you talk about the confidence that Goody, Peck, and Collins have this year. That's a confident player move, because he's not going to do that. I mean, I don't even think I've seen him do that in practice this year. He's usually got a lot of other moves. I don't think he's done that in practice this year. So for it to come out and do that in an absolutely crucial game, it was massive for him.
Score, or the season's over. But one of the points I want to make is the fact that we give plot on JJ's finish, but as we saw, anybody watching on YouTube or watching live will see that as soon as JJ scores, he's straight down to Tyler Beskorowany, because as much as these three guys, or as much as those guys who put the puck in the net, it has to be kept out at the other side. And as we said earlier on, in the shootout and through the whole game, I thought Besko was excellent.
Yeah, and when we bring him in, I just want to touch on something, because I don't know if you could see it at home on what happened in between the overtime ending and the penalty shot starting. So when you bring him in, I'll ask him about it.
Let's do that, shall we? The highlights from the weekend, of course, from Saturday, you can get it on Blaze TV. Ed and Stu doing a great job, as they always do. And also on Sunday, you can get those highlights that took a bit of a time, because, as I said, there was a lot to unpack from Giants TV. Big shout out to the guys at Belfast Giants TV. Been a phenomenal season from them and from you guys, Kitchy. I think it was a phenomenal season from all. We really enjoyed watching it and all that sort of stuff. You guys do a brilliant job, and another one in the books. And speaking of that, they are the sponsors of the Fan Agenda, and we're joined by a man who is up for the KOTG MVP for the second time that it's being awarded. So, sorry, he has the potential to be the first person to get back-to-back MVPs, but he's also picked up 4 trophies in his 2 seasons here now. Is that right? There's 4 trophies. He's going for a 5th. It's Tyler Beskorowany. How are you doing, mate?
How we doing, fellas?
Doing well. Let's have a quick sorry, Simon, you want to ask him something straight away?
Yeah, Besko, I know you were at the bench and taking on some high quality H2O, but I don't know if they showed it on the highlights at the time, but the when Coops left the bench to go down into their end and start, moving the ice that would have been for the guys going down Main Street in the penalty shots and pushing the ice, little bits of the ice out of the way, and then one of their guys went up the other end, and then Scott Conway, being Scott Conway, lifted a big bit of the excess ice sitting beside the bench onto his stick, and then like when you're walking out to throw the salt over the ground when you're in the middle of winter, throws it right across the crease and right across the slot, and then he goes into the net and lifts more and basically does the same thing. And if you watch the first penalty shot, which goes up and over the net, I'm convinced it actually hits a bit off that ice that was sitting in front. What was your view on it?
Yeah, Kivalati definitely missed the puck. He fanned on. I think he just whipped on it completely. I don't know if it hopped over, but yeah, that ice probably had something to do with it, grabbing some of that snow and him losing handle. He still almost got it off. However, that was a little scary. I wasn't sure. I'm not sure if that would have counted or not, but the puck was still moving forward. So I was a little concerned when he actually shot the puck.
What was your take overall of the weekend with regards to the Coventry Blaze? We have had a bit of a battle with them over this weekend. It was a lot tougher than maybe a lot of us expected.
Yeah, I guess the way you can look at it is we've been kind of in playoff mode now for a month and a half, where after winning the cup, we kind of had a bit of a I guess you could say, a championship hangover, and I think it caught up to us a little bit where the rest of these teams are starting to get in that playoff mode where they ramped it up. You see it with Dundee and whatnot, where they took advantage of Sheffield being in the same position, and so we knew Coventry was going to come in tough, and they played like their lives were on the line, their season was on the line, and they played really well. They played a lot better than what I expected them to be. I really don't think they're an 8th place team in this league. They're probably top 5, I would say, this season anyways. And so, it was a great test. I had to stand on my head on that first game in Coventry, and I made some timely saves to keep us into a 2-2 game. And we knew coming back home, we just had to keep it close. And so to get that, come home with the 2-2 game and to get that early one, I think it was good for the guys to get that win and get through this past weekend, because it really could have gone either way.
Before I go over to Davy here for him to get stuck in, just a big shout out to anybody watching live on YouTube, Facebook, or on Twitter. If you want to ask Tyler Beskorowany a question, send us it all in and we'll ask him here, Davy.
Tyler, I guess across the weekend, probably faced a bit more rubber than you have been in a number of games. Is it easier to be so much more involved in a game, or would you rather be standing, leaning against the crossbar, watching the action at the other end? Is it better to keep yourself, in tune?
It's definitely a nice mix of both is nice. I do enjoy getting shots. I definitely don't enjoy the high scoring chances. I think they had a couple too many there on Saturday in Coventry, and so I think Friday was a lot better than the Saturday game, where we didn't give up as many scoring chances. And so I did face a lot of rubber, but a lot of it was from the outside. A lot of it was either dump ins or point shots with no traffic that were fairly easy. So that kind of stuff keeps me engaged in games as well. And even raps where I have to go out and play the puck and stuff like that keeps me engaged. And so I do enjoy a bit of work, but the scoring chances I can do without.
I guess Saturday night too, like the ice didn't look amazing down in Coventry there, and they just dumped the puck all night long. I think I was saying to Simon and stuff earlier, there was something like 70 face-offs. It was ice it and hope to win the foot races, get you out of your net, look for to win them again up against the half boards and stuff. They gave them the game plan and they executed pretty well over like 6-7 periods, but they just didn't quite have enough to get us over the line.
Yeah, no, they definitely played well. Where they stuck to their game plan all weekend. I think from the drop of the puck, they came out with that energy. And like you said, it was just kind of when they felt like they were getting hemmed in their zone, or as soon as they got the puck in their zone, they didn't try to make those plays. They just tried to, get it out of the zone and try to win foot races, or try to capitalize on mistakes from our D-men or our forwards at that point. So hats off to them. They played really well all weekend, and like I said, it really could have gone either way.
That's sorry says before you go there. Just one thing that you've said it. Adam has said it. Every time we've came across a good team, we're always the first ones to say. And I am criticizing some other clubs here. Other clubs don't come out and say, "Well done, boys," and you have to. And it sometimes can come across as a little bit condescending, that you're sort of like, "Oh, well done, we beat you," but you played really well. They didn't allow us. Like, we have had this system of high ozone pressure where we get guys penned in and we get the changes on the, when we're in the offensive zone. We weren't able to do it, and that was just down to Danny Stewart and executing their plan so well. So as you say, you've got to tip your cap to them sometimes.
No, exactly. And I think it goes both ways. I think Danny Stewart said the same thing to us, where I think it was a Saturday interview where he said, it's been a tough season except for the Belfast Giants type of thing, like kind of tipping his hat to us. And, our game plan the entire time was to get control of games, and they did a really good job on not allowing us to do that. It's a lot, especially in that arena, such a small rink, momentum shifts so quickly. And so our game plan is to always try to get the puck behind their D-men and stay in their zone as long as we can, whether it's cycling them down low or or getting the pucks high or switching sides, whatever it may be. The longer we have the puck in their end, you know, the more tired they're going to be, and they're just going to have to try to dump it out and get a change right away. So, yeah, we really try to get control, and they did a really good job on not allowing us to do that.
Besko, penalty shots. I'm assuming there's not much video on your opponents when you're, I mean, especially when, okay, you probably get the 3 or 4 same guys taking penalty shots most time, which is the same, usually same with our squad as well. But what's your read? Is it, you know, are you sitting thinking, right, he's a shooter, or this guy's going to try and dig me, or is it just every single one's different and you've got to play everyone differently?
Well, we actually do. So I do video of their shooters pretty much every game throughout the season. It doesn't matter who the opponent is. Me and Kiefer try to find as much video as we can. We've gone as far as finding video from 2-3 years down the road just to look for tendencies, really. You know, try to see what guys like to do. And I started that back in North America, where our goalie coach actually came out with a stat, and it was something like, you can tell what a shooter's going to do by the time they hit the blue line. It was like 85% of the time or something like that. Just the way they grab the puck, and by the time they hit the blue line, you know what they're going to do just from tendencies. And so, you know, that really stuck with me, and I did try to do that as much. We actually didn't do it. Kiefer did send me the shooters for this game, so maybe it worked out a little better, because when we faced Cardiff, I got a little mixed up there with a couple of their shooters. So, you know, it really just looking for tendencies and trying to see what guys like to do. And I think the same with Bloodoff. It showed up with Bloodoff, where I remembered he's a 5-hole shooter, and he actually scored on me this year on a breakaway 5-hole. So just having that in the back of my mind, and just being prepared for anything that can come our way. And the rest of the guys, you know, just try to let them react first, and then make a move, and try not to make the first move myself.
I know you're 200 feet away when we're shooting the other end, and obviously, you know, you're looking right down ice at it, and you've Collins and Goody and Pickenet's all scoring those goals, and JJ, Davy touched on it there. You know, they made a beeline for you as soon as he turned and put that slotted that puck home. But what was your view on Scott Conway's Forsberg goal?
Unreal.
I heard you guys talking about it there when I was in the waiting room, and he has tried that. Unfortunately, it was just on Dicko, and he didn't really try. He doesn't really try that on me or Wes, because I'm not sure it would actually work for him. But no, it was, you know what, for him to have how can I say this,
The ball.
The balls to try and move like that in the game, where it's do or die. If he doesn't score, we're going home, basically. Yeah, good for him. You know, not everybody can do that. And so I actually didn't think he scored. I didn't think he pushed it far enough around him, but Mott, I guess, just lifted his leg enough to get the puck through. So yeah, no, good for him. That's all.
This time on Sunday afternoon was the first time that there's been a handshake after a game this year, and it's always nice to see after. I mean, those 2 games at the weekend were tough battles. You know, okay, I know the UK, the playoff setup isn't ideal, but we understand why. We understand that, but you know, as a player, and I mean, I was watching when you and CJ having a bit of a conversation there at Centre Ice after the game on Sunday. But it really is that I mean, it's just a show of respect for your opponents and how much effort both teams put in. And hopefully you've got a smile on your face twice this weekend.
Yeah, no, it's the handshake lines are always tough, because you always have one team that's ecstatic and another team that's always in the dumps. And so but again, like you said, just paying the respects to both sides, and you know, congratulating the one side for a tremendous season, really, and the fight that they had this weekend. You know, it's been a long season with the COVID and stuff, and having the season extended and whatnot, and I think they had a few extra games with Glasgow, maybe with the ice plant. So it was really a long season. Everybody went through a lot, and so just congratulating them on like I said, a tremendous weekend and a good season, and them doing the same with us and wishing us best of luck next weekend and through. So I mean, it's just great. It's it just goes to show that you can battle as long as you want, but at the end of the day, each individual has respect for everybody on the ice. And so even touching to the refs, right? I mean, you can yell at the refs all you want for all season long. I know Dalps has taken some abuse this year, but at the end of the day, you got to show them respect for showing up and being there.
He still deserves it anyway. Don't worry about it.
It wasn't until actually the handshakes happened on Sunday that I thought to myself, oh yeah, handshakes. Obviously, it's been a COVID reason, and I totally just until they started. We used to do this all the time, didn't we?
You know what? I don't agree with doing it the whole way through the season.
I don't agree either. I think
it should just be playoffs. I mean, the last time you face those guys that season, that's it. Like all this nonsense about being best mates, that's a lot of balls.
I agree. Let's go to some. We asked for some questions from guys watching on, and let's go to a couple of those. Neil Braddon, highlight game of the season.
The tough one. I mean, I guess it's got to be. It's a toss up between both cups, really, both championships. They just being able to lift the trophy. They, one in overtime and one in a shootout. They both mean so much, and those are two games that are never gonna, I'm never gonna forget. Being in that huddle with the guys after. So I'd have to say both of those games.
Stevie Thompson on Facebook. Who's been the most difficult player to play against this season? Any forward you felt's got the better of you? Let's limit this to teams that are out of the competition so far.
Okay. It's a good one. I can't really think. Well, no, Cardiff's still in. I'm trying to go through the list of teams that aren't in.
Latal got a good goal against you. Remember, he went round in the East End behind with Bridge. He's quick, and he's.
Yeah,
I know Bush is quick, but Latal is lightning quick.
I actually, nobody really stands out to me as a player who's had my number or who's gotten the better of me this year. Nothing really comes to mind.
In all fairness, every time I go on the ice, you're off, mate. So I didn't want to embarrass you.
I haven't seen you on the ice yet this year.
I'm waiting until you go off.
Smart man. The Teresa Bennett, last time she at the Edge Coffee, they had no Portuguese tarts. What would you recommend as an alternative?
Find a different shop that has them.
Yeah, exactly. No, you know what? I've been on the Biscoff lately, so Biscoff tart of some sort, or obviously the old salted caramel cheesecakes are always a good go-to, but
nice.
Nothing too heavy, especially before a hockey game. I've had a couple of sweets, I guess, that didn't sit too good this year, so try to keep it as light as possible.
Box of 50 Timbits.
50?
No, that was awesome that ate those, not me.
One more before we go back to Davy. Have you picked up much from assistant Kiefer as part of the coaching team this season? Yeah,
he's taught me a lot. They all have, really. They all have their input, I guess, and their specialties to bring to the team. Mace, even Stewie, his input that he has with the team is you probably don't notice it just because he's fairly quiet on the bench, and I know a lot of the guys think the same, but when he speaks, I know Kiefer listens, and Mace is the same, and you might not notice everything, but when he talks, you're definitely going to notice. And for Kiefer, they all just bring their specialties to the team. And so I think that's probably the biggest thing I've gotten from them is that, not one person makes up a coaching staff. I know there's a few teams in the league that only have a one staff system, but it's probably not the easiest way to go about it, just because you're not going to hit everything, you're not going to see everything on the ice or in video, and so to have those extra set of eyes, it can just go that much farther.
There's been a lot of chat this season, Besko, on Twitter, Facebook, whatever, social media, about, is this the best Giants team there's ever been? And I guess one way to put the question to bed would be a very positive weekend this weekend. How easy is it for you guys to focus on the first shift, the first period of Dundee game, without trying to get too far ahead of ourselves?
Yeah, that's going to be a test on its own, I think. Dundee's, they've given us, we've been in dogfights with them all season long, and so I almost see them as a little bit of a rival for us, just because we play them so often, especially early on in the season. There's a few guys on that team that probably want to take a few of our guys' heads off, and vice versa. And so, we're definitely going to have to stay in the moment and just focus on one period at a time with these guys, and again, play our game. And I think if we show up and have the right attitude, the right mentality, and the energy, I think we'll come out on top.
Simon, anything for you?
I just want them. I mean, again, this year, you've been lights out, big man. It's been incredible to watch it. I mean, I know you said yourself, there's probably a couple of you'd want it back early in the season, but it's been an absolute pleasure watching you again this year. It's been, and especially I get to watch it every day in practice, and I get to watch it on Giants TV and stuff as well. But let's hopefully have 2 big games this weekend as well.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, no. Hopefully we can, we can put the cherry on top this weekend and get that treble. I know I definitely want it, and I know everybody in that dressing room wants it. And so, to top off the season on a high note, it would be special for sure.
How pleased are you that when that off season came and the call came for Belfast? How pleased are you that you came back and you put on that shirt?
Yeah, looking back now, I guess it panned out.
Yeah.
No, it's, like I said, it was Belfast or nowhere, and I think there was a reason for that. Just the way you get treated here, it's like no other, really. From the staff to the fans and whatnot. It's just, this place holds a special place for me, and so I bleed teal, I guess you can say. So no, I'm extremely happy to be able to have this experience in Belfast.
Besko, sorry for jumping in. I know Paddy was going to finish there, but if you look back at 18-19, or was it 17-18, Davy? 18-19. If you look back at 18-19 and this year, yeah, okay, a lot of changes in the dressing room. We've won exactly the same as what we won that year. We were a post away from winning the Continental Cup, and overtime against Cardiff. I've tried to forget about that one.
Post away as well. Sheds had the post to pass.
Winning all 4. It's. I mean, when you Davy's just touched on a few minutes ago about potentially the best Belfast Giants team's ever been assembled is this year, but there was a pretty decent team a couple of years ago as well.
Yeah, I think they're very comparable teams. People have asked me, which team was better, and I really don't know, because they're so comparable. You can go up and down the lineups and compare a player to one that we had in 18-19. I look at a guy like Pix, for example. He was a surprise. I don't think we were expecting as much out of him. And, talking to Kiefer, we're looking back to 18-19, a guy like Paddy Dwyer, we're expecting him to come in and be a second or third liner. And he shows up, and I think they control the game the same way. They possess the puck the same way. I think they see the ice the same. And like I said, you can go up and down that lineup and find a comparable piece to every single person we had on that team. And I think that's why we have success this year. They really tried to bring back the same team, just different names, but the same pieces, and I think it works, right? It's a championship team. It's a good characters. I think that's the biggest thing that we can bring from this. The same characters that we had last time. You can see it in that room this year. Same thing.
And just as it's his birthday, we'll give a wee mention to Kiefer. I think Simon and me were talking on the phone earlier. Simon, was it five out of the last 9, Elite League trophies Kiefer's brought back to Belfast. He's gone to the Continental Cup final. He's gone to the playoff final. This guy's stock is high at the minute.
Yeah, it is. No, he's done well. I think he's come a long ways. He's learned quite a bit over the last couple of years, and he's had his up and downs, right? Winning again. I go back to learning, and you go back to the year before I got here, where the team won the Challenge Cup, and the team kind of got down in that championship hangover, and they kind of stayed there for the rest of the year, where I think they went on a bit of a losing streak, and they coming back the year after, where we do win the Challenge Cup, and not staying in that lull and not being in that same place that they were last year. He learned from his mistakes and learned what he had to do correctly the year after, and we were able to come out with the league championship. And so I think he's come a long ways. He's tremendous in the room. He knows how to get the guys motivated. He's still got stuff to learn as well, though. I mean, he's only been doing this for a couple of years, and he's just going to continue on getting better. And I think, having his brother there is helping him out immensely, where he's able to go to him for questions, or, ask him his opinion on stuff. And so for him to have that tool in his back pocket, I think it just, he's just going to go so far with this.
Besko, last week on the podcast, I'd said that I was sitting outside the dressing room in Sheffield, and I heard the start of the third period speech from, sounded like any given Sunday, for Kiefer. You were obviously in the locker room for that, and I didn't say anything. I didn't tell anybody what he said in the locker room, but I mean, I'm certainly not a player anymore, but it made me feel like I could personally have wall to get straight in there for him, because that speech is potentially going to go down as one that every guy in that room is not going to forget.
Yeah, and you know what? He had a very similar speech going into the third period of the Challenge Cup finals as well. I think that one's going to stick with a lot of guys, and he's a motivator. He definitely does that very well, and I think that brings him back to his playing days, right, where he had to be that voice in the dressing room, where if a coach wasn't doing that motivation, then he had to step up and do that. And I think a lot of that comes from his leadership, and him having that captaincy back in the day. And I think you're starting to see it a little more with the guys in the room as well, the guys that are leaders in the room, from Coops to Goody, that may not have been used to being a captain or a leader in his previous teams. And I think throughout the year you're starting to see a little more come out of all these guys, and so it's really nice to see. And again, yeah, it just some big speeches, and definitely not going to forget those.
Besko, listen, we really appreciate your time. You've been with us for almost 30 minutes now, just chatting away. We really do appreciate it, as we do all through the season. And thank you very much for being there and chatting to us and answering the questions from the guys watching in on the View from the Bridge. One last thing I do have to ask you before you go. You are currently the outright leader in the voting for retaining your KOTG MVP award. But if you had your vote, who does your vote go to?
It's got to go to Dicko. I mean, he's got to be the MVP, right?
Absolutely.
I mean, he's been awesome for us all year, but no, I don't know. It could really go to a number of guys. I mean, from top to bottom, everybody. I think that was one thing too this whole season, that we've been an entire team. It wasn't just one or two guys that have been carrying the load. Obviously, Pix and Konza, they put up a lot of goals, but we've had some big goals scored by some not big names as them, and so big block shots. Rayner, you can easily go to Rayner for his block shots. You can go to Griff for how well he plays back there. Bomber's been a pleasant surprise for everybody. I mean, the list goes on and on. I can keep going all night with this entire team, and so it really can go to anybody.
Absolutely. Well, listen, thanks very much for joining us. It's a big weekend. There's only one medal that you haven't hung around your neck in the 2 seasons you've been here. So, oh no, hold on. I think are you pulling in here? I think you're pulling in there, sis.
Hey,
I was expecting Jasmine.
Well, you guys, hold on. You guys have to ask Taff about our ritual before the game.
Oh.
Go on then, Jason. Jason Ellery, join us for those not watching online on video.
So before every game, Besko, after you've done the anthems or the puck drop, Besko gives me all to look over to see if I've got his bottle on the bench, and he comes over and for the last how long, Besko? Probably
a couple months now.
Couple of months. So I present him with his water bottle, but it's a whiskey. It's been different whiskies all year. The only one he didn't like was the Crown Royal because he fell over in Dundee and hurt his ankle.
Yeah, no Crown Royal. Not a lot of Crown Royal anymore.
Yeah, he's had some pretty good bottles of whiskey. The last one was £24,000. Yeah,
top shelf. Nothing but the best. Top shelf.
It was top shelf.
You got to drink the good stuff.
That's right.
That's it. Hell of a football game, that, boys. But good night.
Thanks, Staff.
See you later.
And like I say, Besko, only one medal to go around your neck, and we hope you go get it.
I appreciate it. Yes,
get it done.
It's been way too long. Like my playoff beard was black, and Paddy had a comb over. The last time we won the playoffs must be 12 years ago now, Paddy.
It's 12 years ago.
One of the best days we've ever had following this club. So looking forward to one more, please.
Likewise, yeah, absolutely.
Nice one. Thanks, Besko.
All right, thanks, guys.
Cheers, Besko.
Come on.
Big thanks to Tyler Beskorowany for joining us on a view from the bridge. It's and he, like I say, he stuck with us there for a solid 30 minutes or so, answering our questions and your questions. And thanks to everybody who sent questions in on Facebook and YouTube. Davey, go on.
Do you know what? He's absolutely right in what he's saying, and yeah, it's easy to go with stats, and it's easy to say the MVP should be JJ Pickett or Scott Conway with around 100 points each. It should be Tyler Beskorowany with a 92.68 percentage, 1.6 goals against average, something like that. But it could easily be Jeff Baum for season pro. It could easily be, Griffin Reinhardt, the way he talks about that Rolls Royce in the back end. It could be Jason Taff Ellery for me, MVP every season.
Sorry.
What's wrong?
Nothing. He's wild. Carry on.
Anybody, Rayner for those blocks, Hookie for the hits. Everybody's contributed something. Mark Cooper on the penalty, on the power play.
Jeff
how many goals? Nearly 30. Yeah, we talked about Jeff Baum.
31 goals this year for Coops.
Talking to Taffer. Slater Doggett has come up big. Tyler Soy has come up with a couple of massive goals across this season. One against Cardiff earlier in the season in the league. One against Cardiff in the Challenge Cup final. One at the weekend there that turned out to be very, very crucial. He's came up with big goals, and I know he got the player of the month in December, delivered big time then. So right across the season, you go right down that list of players, and everyone, there's no one in that team from top to bottom that hasn't contributed. And Besko's talking about contributions from Andrew Dixon, training every day, taking extra shots. When boys were in slumps, staying out on the ice after training, they'll allow them to just work on things. Remember, Coops mentioned him earlier in the season, said, I was trying to work on things. Dicko stayed after and helped me. So top to bottom, is this team the best that's ever been assembled? Remains there's still stories to be written here, hopefully.
I agree. Let's have a look at how the playoff bracket has gone with regards to some of the results that came in over the weekend. And more or less every game went down to the wire. Obviously, Guildford and Nottingham played out a 4-4 on Saturday in Guildford. Dundee, Omar Pasha went into Sheffield and took a 1-0 lead back to Dundee. Of course, we had the 2-2. And Cardiff, Glasgow Clan, live on Premier Sports, took a 4-3 lead back up the motorway to Glasgow over the Cardiff Devils. Our story we've already told. With regards to Nottingham Panthers, 2 late goals from Guildford, which Aaron Murphy will talk about shortly. knocked the Nottingham Panthers out of the playoffs. And Sheffield went 3-1 up on aggregate before 4 unanswered goals from the Dundee Stars, with the last ones an empty net in the finish, but the last goals coming in the dying minutes knocked the Sheffield Steelers out of the playoffs. My heart bleeds. And it was Cardiff were held by the Glasgow Clan up until the last 10 minutes of the game before they found 2 goals to put them into the playoff finals weekend. That Sheffield game, Davy, for Pash to get those 4 unanswered goals against the Steelers to go through, remarkable.
Yeah, give Aaron Fox a 10-year contract, not just a 3-year contract. Being facetious about that's one thing. For Sheffield to lose that from the position they're in, again, not trying to be condescending, credit the Dundee for sticking with the task, and they got a few. Sheffield lost their discipline and it went to pieces there. I think they took a lot of penalties right down the stretch around the last 10-15 minutes of the game, and Dundee are good. And this is a lesson to be learned for the Belfast Giants. We have to be disciplined at the weekend. Dundee know where the back of the net is with the special teams. So we have to be careful there. But for Sheffield to lose from that position, I know that we've heard WhatsApp groups, and whenever Sheffield were 3-1 up or whatever, it was like, oh, great, as expected. And then they've turned it around. So absolute credit to Dundee. And have you the stats from last week?
Well, that's what I know that Mr. Kitchen is chomping at the bit for me to share the fact that we did.
Can remember, can he?
We did. I think he can remember. We did put in our predictions last week as to who we thought would be the 4 teams that are. Hold on, I put out 4 teams that would be making it to Nottingham.
Graphic?
I do have a graphic. I went for Giants, Steelers, Devils, Flames.
I went with my heart.
You went for Giants, Stars, Clan, Flames. Joel went for Giants, Steelers, Clan, Flames. But 4 out of 4 for Mr. Simon Kitchen. Giants, Stars, Devils, Flames.
Tell you what, I was 1 minute away from the Clan nearly did it.
They did. Well done, Simon. That's the insight you get on Belfast Giants TV.
I tried to get, I couldn't get I didn't want to bet on each game, but I wanted to bet on who was going to go through, and I couldn't get one. Couldn't see who was going to win the quarterfinals over the weekend. I couldn't see it on, because if I had it done, I'd have got all those 4. Probably got a few cut up.
What do you think about those, Simon, about those 4 going through?
Listen, I know that there's a lot of Steelers fans and Panthers fans, and I know everybody likes to have a bit of a go at them, but it just goes to show the parity in the league. It doesn't necessarily show it when you look at the league table at the end of the season and the amount of points that are there. But the teams in this league this year, it's obviously proven, and you can see that any team can beat any other team on any given day. So, I just felt after watching the Steelers in Sheffield a few weeks ago and then watching them in Belfast the week before last, I just felt that Dundee really would have had a chance. I mean, they would have been absolutely buoyant after beating Coventry the week before to push up the standings and get against the Steelers. But Robbie McConnell knows this story.
I just saw that from Robbie McConnell saying kids are winning more bets.
Yeah, I just felt that the Stars really, really would have had a chance. The Devils have been hurting for the last few weeks, but they have a solid team. Pretty sure they got Mickelson back in the last week or 2 as well, and he's probably one of the best defensemen in the league, and that's going to help him. Carruth, we know, has got an opportunity to give him a chance to win every single game, and he did that on Sunday in Glasgow from reading reports and listening to Malcolm Cameron's interviews after the game. He said he was brilliant. So, look, it's going to be really, really tough this weekend. It certainly is. The Stars have got a good team. The big man at the back that brought in there towards and I think it was a deadline, Ozils. He is an absolute laser with regards to his slap shot. So I think it's for I don't know how far you want me to go into it regarding this weekend, but it's imperative we stay 5-on-5 this weekend. We need to stay out of the penalty box. We're the best team in the league 5-on-5. It's been, there's no doubt about that. But it's going to be a really, really interesting weekend because there's no Panthers and there's no Steelers, and it's going to be a difficult one for the EIHL to hold on to, because well, we all
We're
know
going
that.
to come back. We're going to come back to regards to that and the situation for the Elite League. What I am going to do is that obviously this weekend we'll be live on Premier Sports, and I had an opportunity earlier on. I'm hoping this video works because I'm having a few video problems, but I had an opportunity earlier on to chat with our very good friend Aaron Murphy.
Again, Darren?
Can't believe it's playoff final weekend, Patty, and more importantly, I can't believe you're not going to be there. It's just, although full credit to your charitable endeavors. I wish you the best of luck, and I know it won't be easy, but it's for a good cause. So well done to you, mate.
Thank you, mate. Thank you. The weekend gone by. Let's have a quick chat. The playoffs, quarterfinals have set up this weekend. What a weekend it was. More or less every single game came down to the last minutes.
Pretty interesting because when you looked at those the Saturday going in, we were in Cardiff, and you're thinking, well, a couple of these top teams might be comfortable after tonight. Sheffield and Cardiff both wanted the Scottish team to travel twice. They didn't elect to have the Sunday home leg. They kind of wanted to have the first leg at home, make the Scottish squads travel, and hopefully go back to Scotland on Sunday for leg 2 up by a couple of goals. But we know that didn't work out for either side, down by a goal. So fair play to the Glasgow Clan. They came a day early. They had their rest. They didn't have bus legs. They had a morning skate the day of. And you have to tip your cap to Omar Pasha's side as well. I mean, to go into Sheffield, that's a cauldron. It's not easy. And you guys know that. It's not easy to go in there and get a win at the best of times. But in a situation where Aaron Fox and the Steelers clearly thought, let's get Pasha to have to come down here and have the bus legs, and we'll go back to the Dundee Ice Arena, maybe a couple of goals clear, and to get a shutout from Morrison and to go back and then to have to climb back into that. I mean, they looked like they were dead and buried in that third period. So, I mean, I think it shapes up nicely. And I think it's a true GB title up for grabs now, isn't it? We got Northern Ireland versus Scotland, and we've got England versus Wales in the other semifinal. So it's quite nicely poised. And look, I don't care who says they're an expert and who says they would have picked that. All 4 teams, no one had a lead after leg 1. All top 4 teams, seeds 1 through 4. I mean, the best team after the first leg was Nottingham, equal with Guildford. Everyone else trailed. So, or the Giants, of course, tied as well. But like, I can't believe the push by the Blaze as well. So fair play to Danny Stewart and company as well. And Kiefer's blood pressure must have been up over healthy limits in that shootout.
I think we were talking earlier on the show about this game, and no doubt the Belfast Blaze game, a lot of people thought with it being tied coming to Belfast, it was very much advantage Belfast the way we've been playing towards the end of the season. But the Blaze never say die, and like you say, you heard from Danny Stewart after the game how proud he was of his team.
I mean, you think back to a couple of years ago when you won the league title, you were at a playoff or a postseason banquet, and Cardiff went into Coventry. And everyone thought there's no way that Coventry's beaten Ben Bounds and Joey Martin the way the Devils. So the Devils, I think, just needed a point that night.
They did.
Blaze beat them, and you guys were at your end of season banquet and got a text or an alert. I'm sure everyone was watching on their phones, but you win the title that way. So Coventry should never really be counted out, I guess, in those situations where they can have a game plan in a one-off game like that. So I'm not surprised they push you, although I am surprised they pushed you like that. And I'm sure JJ Pickenich had ice in his veins in that shootout winner. But, well, look, all season long he's been class, maybe the best, I think the best player in the Premier Sports Elite League. So either he or Conway is going to be sort of that, that key acquisition in the offseason, or people will be talking about that acquisition. But I think Danny Stewart and company have to be commended. And I think you guys have to be commended because you stuck with it. You could have went, wow, we just can't get away from these guys. We can't separate each other. And I think actually, if you look back at it, no one will be happy that it was that tight, but that might be the kick in the rear end or the impetus to be ready for this weekend, because it's good to have a little bit of adversity like that. It's good to be tested, and it's good to be on the bench going, oh my God, we're about to lose this, and to find a way through, because that'll put you in good stead for the weekend. Because let's be honest, if you had won 6 or 7-1 on aggregate, you'd be feeling maybe not overly confident this weekend, but you'd be feeling pretty good. And then all of a sudden you come up against a Dundee squad that really had to work their socks off in leg 1, really had to come back and dig deep in leg 2. So I think it's really good that you faced a little bit of adversity against the Blaze.
You and Paul covered that game in Nottingham on Sunday where Guildford, like you say, they went in 4-4. Nottingham having have had real problems this season closing out games, closing out things out, and so it proved with Guildford picking up those 2 quick goals.
I mean, Jamal Watson, every team needs a game breaker, and we just talked about a couple of yours in Conway and Pickenich. I think the big problem in Nottingham this year, well, of course, the injuries, let's be honest. So maybe the next point is through the injuries, but they didn't have that game breaker. At 2-1 up, they kind of started to back up into Carr's crease. They sort of seemed to think that maybe 2-1 was enough, but I mean, my goodness, they outshot Guildford 37-25, but there's a class difference when a guy like Jamal Watson in those a minute 49 or whatever it was, 2 goals in quick succession, 2 goals in less than 2 minutes. And he's the catalyst for that. That's why he's the leading point getter amongst all elite league defenders. He's the only defenseman to lead his team in points this year. And so no surprise there. So a game breaker is so important. And look, the 4 finalists have them, don't they? Dundee has Bengtson and Combs. You guys have a bevy of them. We've mentioned some of them. And not only do you have the likes of Pickenich and Conway, but you've got the Coopers and the other guys who add those scoring, the secondary scoring. And then, you look at Guildford and Watson sets up, and that Levi Cable is a very good player.
Yes, he is.
I would imagine Paul Dixon's going, I kind of wish that game wasn't on TV, because now every other team in the league, if they look back at that film, they're going to be like, maybe we should get Cable on the phone here or Jamal Watson's agent. But I think the big difference for Nottingham, because of the injuries, no game breaker, not able to put – I think they were up 3 different times in leg 1 and 1:44 left in the Spectrum in Guildford. Guildford gets the tying goal through Griffiths to make it 4-4. They were up 2-1 with about 5 and change left in the game, and they lose 3-2. So not able to distance them, not able to get away from Guildford. Guildford had the class to come back, and that Jamal Watson's fun to watch.
Obviously, you were able to cover 2 games at the weekend and more or less covering every single phase of this playoff postseason. And we've got 3 games on Premier Sports this weekend with both semi-finals and the final. What a weekend it's going to be for you guys.
It's going to be great. And you know what? I know I've said it on your show before. People give out on social media, and I'm sure plenty of Giants fans. We had all these games booked to try and catch the league title. And once we had the league title in Sheffield, we were supposed to then come to Belfast on the Friday. But there was a meeting. It was like, shouldn't we do 2 quarterfinals? Because we don't know what's going to happen or who's going to dress or what's going to happen on that Friday night. And in all honesty, the hardest place to go, because we had to put trucks from the mainland on the ferry to Belfast. So that was going to happen if it was league title night. But otherwise, we needed to find a game that would be something of a knockout scenario or a playoff scenario, and that was the right call, because what a hockey game that was on Saturday night between Glasgow and Cardiff. And we wanted to be able to have that sort of we wanted to cover both legs. In years past, we've only ever done a leg 2 because of trying to capture the league title, but we got you guys capturing that in Sheffield, and so we had 2 hockey games this weekend that were really, really good games, really entertaining, setting us up nicely for this weekend. And again, on social media, people are already giving out about the 3rd, 4th place game. Don't give out to me about the inadequacies of what that might mean or what teams take it seriously and what teams don't take it seriously at that point. I've been at the playoff final weekend where the 3rd, 4th place game, Andrew Lord, disappointed that Cardiff doesn't get to the final, but treated the 3rd, 4th place game like an Olympic bronze medal game. And so you're going, well, that might have been okay on TV. But I've also been at the playoff final week when the 3rd, 4th place game, you've got goalies playing center and equipment managers in goal. So that's nothing to do with us. It was always going to be the 2 semifinals and the final. I do think, in credit to all the teams, that they do take the 3rd, 4th place game much more seriously. But if it comes down to showing 2 quarterfinals and not showing the 3rd, 4th place game, our deal is for 27 games. So we have to fit in the best 27 games possible.
So give us the rundown then. What are we going to get this weekend?
Yeah, well, you as the number 1 seed, you get the earlier game so that you have more rest for Sunday. So it's you guys versus Dundee. And that's interesting to me, because you guys, it seemed like you played Dundee 116 times in the first part of the season in the Challenge Cup. And, I mean, you did really well against them in the Challenge Cup, a couple of wins, I believe a shootout win and 1 loss. So there was some tight games. And then in league play, I think you were 4 wins, a loss, and maybe an overtime loss, but really good success against the Dundee Stars. So it's kind of fitting that you started off the season with all those games together, and now your Grand Slam ambitions come down to one more meeting with Omar Pasha.
Don't say the GS words, man.
Look, I mean, I'm impartial, so I have to say, it's like people say to me, you said shutout on air. Of course I said shutout. There was 2 minutes to go, and the guy was looking for a shutout. So I don't care about the the sort of the gremlins jinxing things, but it's interesting that it comes down for that. And then you know what? Cardiff Guildford's going to be a great hockey game. Like I just said, that Jamal Watson and Levi Cable, some of those players are fun to watch. And I would imagine with the coaching change and some of the things that have, there's been a lot going on in Cardiff recently. There's been a lot of changes, and there's stories about goalies leaving, leaking out and stuff like that. So it's going to be maybe a little bit more on the minds of Cardiff. And if you're Guildford and Paul Dixon, Digger's got to be saying to those guys, there's no pressure on us.
Yep.
That's the number 3 seed who made it to the Challenge Cup final and lost in overtime. That's a team that was built to challenge for the league title and finish third. We lost 12 games in a row around the midpoint of the season, and here we are. We work our way up to 5th. We go into Nottingham, a tough place to win, down by a goal in the late stages of the third period, and we get it done. We've got no pressure on us. Let's just go out and let's eliminate Cardiff. So I think both those semifinals are going to be intriguing, and we'll have them both live and exclusive for you on Premier Sports.
Well, we look forward to that, mate, and always a good weekend. I'm disappointed I'm not going to be there, and we can't have our normal sort of Saturday evening feed that we normally have on a catch-up. I'm usually worse for wear. I'll probably be worse for wear, but in a different way this week. But no doubt.
Yeah, just don't fall off your bike. I think you're going to watch the games, though, as you're climbing a mountain somewhere.
I've got a mount on my bike, and I'm going to have a Bluetooth in my ear, so I'll be watching in.
Safety is paramount. I do not want to hear that a Giants goal caller, me or Paul 80, getting excited about a Giants goal sends you over the handlebars. So just be careful on that bike.
I won't be going that quickly. But listen, mate, great to have a chat with you. Good luck this weekend with everything on Premier Sports TV. And thanks for joining us this season on A View from the Bridge. We really appreciate it.
Buddy, anytime. Love coming on. Thanks for including me. And it's always an honor to be on the show, but also best of luck with your charitable endeavors. I think that's great, man. And fair play to you. We'll catch up for a cold one at some point.
Absolutely. Thanks.
Unmute myself there. That's good. Yeah, big thanks to Aaron Murphy for his time and joining us. It's always good to have Murph on, Davey. You can see the passion for the game.
He's a great guy, Murphy. He's always very good with his time with us, and it's been over many years. Like, let's be honest, he's been coming on the podcast for donkey's years, as long as I've been doing it. Murph's been doing it, so he's pushed doors, and he's pushed at closed doors sometimes until he got one to open. And like now, the Premier Sports is the title sponsor of the league, and they're showing 27 live games a season. So you can't say anything but good things about the fella. He's worked very hard to get the league the exposure that he feels it deserves. So hopefully that'll be continuing for many more years to come.
Absolutely. And Simon, from your point of view, Premier Sports have it on TV. Obviously, your new role within the season within the Belfast Giants sponsorship and stuff. Is that something that you feed in? Is the fact that there is going to be television coverage?
Yeah, absolutely. Any sponsor that wants to get involved in a club, they want the exposure, and Premier Sports is definitely helping it. I think it's 6 live games we were involved in this year. 3 at home and 2 at home and 4 away. So, any company that wants to get involved, and certainly drop us a line, we'll be able to help you out. Already looking forward to next season and beyond. But, it's fantastic to have live hockey on the TV. Now, yes, you've got a subscription. It's not a lot of money compared to what you pay for some things these days. And to get them involved and get the live hockey. I know Davey doesn't watch anything unless it's teal-covered spectacles on, but I love watching hockey. I really do enjoy watching hockey, and I don't really mind who plays. And it's always good, especially if we're in the middle of a season, you're watching a team who you're maybe playing the week after, and I can do a wee bit of homework online instead of go through all the webcasts and stuff. So it's really good, and long may it continue. We've talked about it long enough to try and have a title sponsor, and talked about it long enough to have the coverage out there. So yeah, it's fantastic for sponsors, fantastic for the club, and fantastic for the league.
Let's have a couple of pieces of news before we just have a quick look ahead to this weekend. And the first piece of news, Davey, is the fact that what came out today that after a number of seasons behind the bench for the Manchester Storm, Ryan Finnerty is taking a back seat and focusing on his GM role.
good luck to him. They're obviously there's rumors abound of who they're bringing in as their head coach next season. So we'll let excuse me. We'll let them.
Job, did we?
No.
I want the job.
No, we'll just we'll let the Manchester Storm announce that in all good time. So Finner's tried his very best in there as his head coach since he came back into the club, and unfortunately for them, they weren't able to get through the playoffs this year, so they'll be looking to reload, retool, and have another blast at it next season.
Says Finner.
Like again, being a coach in this league isn't easy. They've already proven that. And he was in Glasgow with Braehead at the time. It's come down to Manchester, which Paddy, you know better than anybody. You're up against Manchester United, Manchester City, and Salford United. They're always looking sponsored. There's so many clubs, whether it be football, rugby, all these different disciplines, up against a minority sport in the UK. It's always, and I can see that from Northern Ireland's point of view. I mean, we've got so many Irish League clubs. You've got Ulster Rugby, you've got the GAA, you've got all these clubs who are vying for the same money that you are. And if you're putting a good product on a plate for sponsors to get involved with, it makes it an awful lot easier. It makes it even easier when you're successful. And it's been a difficult couple of years for Manchester. I think they finished ninth this year. It's been a really difficult season for them. And as I say, when you've got all those different sports clubs around that neck of the woods and people vying for the same money to put into the club, it's really, really tough. But look, I'm assuming that's why he's taking a back role and he wants to, go into the community and try and get more people involved and get more bums on seats and get more sponsors involved. And like, again, it's another, you've got to get another coach on board so somebody else is getting a job out of it. So look, we'll wait and see what happens with it. But as I said before, with every other club in the league, I don't really care.
On your point, it's not just like you can talk about the big clubs in Manchester, and obviously the big clubs are the big clubs, and they will draw in from not just from Manchester. And if the games are on, there's going to be a lot of guys who are going to be watching in pubs and whatever. It's not just that. Especially in around here, Moss Lane, Altrincham FC are literally round the corner. They've got quite a big draw in that area. They're doing pretty well, and it's a nice stadium, Moss Lane, to go and watch football. And they're in a battle against them, I guess, for bums on seats. But even just people who just want to go to the cinema, or people who there's a cinema around the corner. There's so much to do. You're trying to battle against just a Saturday night entertainment or Sunday evening entertainment, and in Manchester there's lots of that. Now, what works in their favour is that they're on a tram line, so they're able to draw directly in from the town and directly in from the likes of Sale and Old Trafford and Stretford and all along that line, and they can bring people in. But it's not an easy deal. It's not an easy deal in Manchester, and more power to him being able to sort of turn things around on the ice and find the right coach to do that, but also to build those crowds at the Planet Ice, is it, or Silver Blades in Altrincham. The only other piece of news or something to chat about is something that's been bouncing around social media for a couple of days, especially since the weekend with the elimination of Sheffield and Nottingham from the playoffs, and that is the fact that playoff tickets have not been selling anywhere near that they have in the last number of seasons. We've had quite a few sellouts or highly packed NICs for the playoff weekend. And as it stands, if you're on Twitter, you can't help but see that there are swaths of unsold tickets, Davy. That's a difficult one for the Elite League. Price point is one thing. Losing Sheffield and Nottingham is another. What can the Elite League do?
At this stage, not an awful lot. I think the price point made a lot of people's decision to either wait and see if their team qualified before they would take a dip. Teams like Belfast don't have that luxury because a lot of people have flights to book, and obviously with the date being changed as well, people changed hotels and weren't prepared to did not take the risk. So Belfast fans either travelled or they didn't. Dundee have started adding numbers and decent numbers this week when they qualified. Manchester don't look like they've sold virtually any tickets out of their block, so it's one of those things that the risk of pricing it, which was pretty exceptionally high, to be honest.
No concessions either.
the current economic climate, people coming out of COVID, the price of everything escalating, and then trying to find an extra whatever the price of tickets were, especially for a weekend pass, was quite expensive. So in terms of that, the price point was always going to be difficult to sell tickets, and so I think that made people's decision, we'll wait to this weekend, and with the, if you like, big hitters like Nottingham and Sheffield not getting there. I just know myself, like as a Belfast Giants fan, if I was a Nottingham fan, not that it would ever happen, and the Nottingham Panthers weren't there, I certainly wouldn't be going to give up 130 quid plus, beers and travel and expenses to watch other teams playing. So, I think at last count there's 2,500-3,000 tickets sold. So it's not going to be as full this year as times past, but you make the best of it. We're there for business. We're not there for pleasure. We're there for business, and hopefully pleasure afterwards.
Simon, from commercially, it's not great for the Elite League. We know that the playoff weekend is a major means for the Elite League to gain money in order to sort of run the league. We know that over the last number of years, maybe there wasn't so much money coming into the league with regards to all the shutdowns that happened, things like that. But with no concessions and everybody paying the same price, it looks like, unfortunately, the Elite League are going to bear the brunt of this.
Yeah, and do you know what? When it first came out, yeah, okay, the tickets were a little bit higher than what everybody thought they were going to be. But as Davey touched on there, everything's went up in price. Yeah. I went in to fill the car and fuel the other day. It was cost me £119.12.
Unbelievable.
Just to fill the car with diesel. So everything went up in price. I can sort of understand it because it's been a difficult couple of years for the league. It's, they've had zero income. They've had, you need to support the league. That's a difficult one for me as the position I'm in now with the Giants, yep. And I can't sit here and go full hog on it. And I wouldn't go full hog on it, because I genuinely think that they need to look at the business model with regards to where we are. And I am taking into consideration that they had put the price up, but with regards to the concession, I think that might have been a mistake, not giving the kids a chance. However, there's adults out there who are always trying to get kids tickets, and when people are coming through in their thousands to get into the arena, all they're waiting for is a bleep coming through at the Nottingham gate. They're not waiting for a bleep. Oh, you're not a child, you're an adult, you can't get in that ticket. They don't care, and that sort of, when you're put in that position, whether it be the SSA Arena, whether it be the Oval, or whether it be whatever, it happens all over the place. People trying to get on the cheap, and I understand why they put the price up and they kept it at the same level. It doesn't make a difference if it's an 8-year-old kid sitting on a seat in the arena, or it's a 90-year-old man sitting on that same seat. Some people sometimes have to pay the same price. However, I do think that was probably the one mistake. I'm not going to complain about the price, but I think that's the one mistake that they didn't have covered. And with the COVID situation and everything being pushed back, that didn't do them any help either. It's just see the message here coming across the bottom now, and moving the venue should be an option for the future. Nottingham's been there for a long time. It's a good city to go to. We've all been there on many occasions. It's a nice city to go to. It's a nice arena to basically play in. We've still got the best arena in the league, but I don't think anybody's ever going to make that decision to come to Belfast. And I'd love to see it happen. And I think every other fan that came to Belfast would have a brilliant time. But it's a really difficult situation for the league. I do genuinely feel sorry for the everybody behind that and all the directors and all the board members within the league, because it's going to be really, really tough. I honestly don't know exactly what the totals are now, but do you know what? See if you can afford to go. It's got the potential to be 2 really good games on the Saturday. It's potential to make a few quid. It's a potential to be a good game on the Sunday morning. And then, whoever's in the final, it doesn't matter if it's Belfast, Cardiff, Belfast, Guildford, Cardiff, Dundee. It doesn't matter. Cardiff, or Dundee, Guildford, don't want to miss anybody out. It's got the potential to be a really good game. So, look, if it was in my city and I was there, I would buy a ticket and go along to it. But it is what it is. And then you get idiots like this coming on, move it to Planet Ice, Solihull. The last place I would move would be Planet Ice, Solihull. Just nice.
Could you imagine? Could you imagine? Who is that?
Just because it's handy for him and he cancels everything.
Mark Hitchcock. Who is that idiot?
Yeah.
Doesn't like ice hockey, but watches ice hockey podcasts.
That's
live.
it. Right, Mark.
Live.
Mark with a C.
What are the there's a rampant rumor going around, Davy, that the betting companies are onto this third, fourth place game.
And let's not speak about it.
Because they're all watching the view from the bridge. Right, let's look ahead just briefly to these games that are taking place. Saturday, 3 p.m, the Belfast Giants will play in the first semi-final against the Dundee Stars at the NIC, live on Premier Sports. And then at 7 p.m, the Cardiff Devils against the Guildford Flames, again, live on Premier Sports. Third, fourth place games the next day, and then at 5 p.m. on Sunday, the Premier Sports Elite League's playoff final. Davey, you hit this bit, but Dundee, we've played 3,522,306 times. Is there anything about them that we don't know?
Probably is around a dozen times this season, Simon, 10, 12 times, something like that. When you take what we've done, there'll not be many surprises, no. We should be well set. We know where their secrets come from. We talked about it in the podcast. Very good special teams. Play them 5-on-5. Stay disciplined, and we should be okay against them. I think we've got enough depth. We've got good goaltending. We've got good defense. We've got good forwards. We know what we've done in the successful games against them this season. Follow the plan. Stick with the process. And as I said earlier, that first period, critical to get off to a good start, and then you see where you go from there. It's going to be a tight game. This is not, I can't imagine any blowout games this weekend, maybe apart from Sunday morning. All teams are playing desperate. They're playing for their absolute lives. This is the big one to win. I know the league over this in this country is the bigger prize, get you the CHL. We're talking about that the other day. If we would go on and win, Sheffield can come and say thank you to us for getting into the Continental Cup, and we'll make sure they know all about that. But we have to play for our lives too. This means so much. We've got how many finals in the last 10 years since we won it? We lost to Sheffield, we lost to Nottingham, we lost to Cardiff. We haven't turned those final performances in when we needed them. We came up very short at times, and just those little fine margins. Not a too many. Was it too many men? Too many men penalty. Things like that. Greg Stewart, too many men on the ice penalties. Turned that final, lost because of it. We just got to be disciplined, stick with our process, and we're going to be okay.
Simon, it is the showpiece final, or the showpiece final weekend. Dundee, they've beaten us. You know what I mean? They have known how to beat us. It is not something where we can show any sort of complacency.
Dundee are a good team. They've got some really good players. Charlie Combs finished third in the league in points. Top player. He's going to
he'll be sought after in the off season.
To be honest, I saw it after probably 2 games against them. I think the kid's unbelievable. He's only about 5'6". He gets stuck in. He's got good pedigree behind him from in college and stuff as well. So, but they have a number of really good players. Bankston's a solid player. They've got a bit of toughness at back with Haas, and I'm sure as Besko says earlier on, somebody wants to take somebody's head off. But they're beatable. We've already proven that this year. Are they going to play tighter this year? Or this because it's a playoff game? It's a one-off game. At the end of the day, it's a one-off game. I'm pretty sure it says in the 3-on-3 with 5 minutes again after it if it goes to overtime and then a shootout. So, they might be comfortable just trying to keep it tight, going all the way and taking it to the shootout. I know Adam will want to win in 60 minutes and try and basically, get prepared and get as much rest as possible for the next day. However, he'll not be thinking about that because it's all about Saturday. As I say, Dundee have got a really good team. They have proven and they deserve to be there after beating Sheffield in 2 games over the weekend. So at the end of the day, it's going to be a tough ask. But as Davey touched on, I think we've got enough, and we've got enough in the tank to basically get 2 last games out of these boys.
I did pester Omar Pasha to come and chat with us. He has sent a message saying, sorry guys, won't be able to make it. Really sorry. Can you wish happy birthday to Kiefer for me from me and the Stars? And I hope he and the guys celebrate his birthday all week long.
Sure he does.
I'm sure he does.
Kiefer's in the gym first thing this morning.
Was he?
On his birthday. He was in the gym, but as the boys were as well. They were all in the gym first thing this morning.
Good for him. Man never stops. But yes, so those games, like I say, will be Saturday, 3 p.m. at the NIC. If you're not going, it'll be live with Aaron Murphy, Paul Eadie, and Caitlin Berry on Premier Sports. And then the second semi-final is Saturday is Cardiff against Guildford. That's on Premier Sports 2. And Premier Sports also, not Premier Sports 2. And the final is at 5 p.m. at the NIC and also on Premier Sports on Sunday. Any other business, boys?
I have a couple. I'll have the massive shout out from everybody at AVFTB and the arena. Karen Mercer was taken ill last week, and she missed the Giants game at the SSC Arena for the first time in, like, as far as I can remember.
Yeah.
Just let her know that we're thinking about her and hope she's okay. And
absolutely.
And is back shouting at people at the arena very, very soon.
I didn't know that. No, big shout to Karen. Hope you're doing better. Davey, anything for you?
The Rain or Razor, I just put it on Twitter before we came on air there. It's over £2,000 of pledges. So please, if you've pledged, back up that pledge and get your money in. I would really appreciate it. Over £2,000 for Action Mental Health NI, from the idea of Susan me of let's throw a few quid in for.
It's none to do with me. It's all him.
People diving in front
he
of
does that, doesn't he?
So fair play for everyone that got involved and those that have donated money so far. Thank you. Those that still need to donate money, don't make me send the bag man to pick it up. You don't want to get him annoyed.
You don't want that. You don't want that. The repo man.
He's just admitted he's got a full car of diesel and he can come to your house. So if I need to send him.
Very true.
I have a couple of other things, Paddy. Sorry, Davey interrupted me. That's okay. The awards nights on Monday night. Tickets are flying. We didn't expect this many people to want to get involved. And I know people sit and think that the arena holds 9,000 people. That's not the case for this event. The stage has been put forward, so there's only a certain amount of tickets available. So if you want to go on Monday night, because this potentially could be a really big party. But as I say, we're not getting ahead ourselves at the minute. But if you want to go on Monday night, get your tickets sorted out because there's not going to be many left. And last but not least, well, that actually is it.
Is that it?
I think so.
Okay, well, I'll do one if you think of it. If there's no one, then come back in. It's an answer to Daryl Moore, who's asking any news on the pint for a pint. That's on me. I need to sort that out and get that finished because this season's been a bit of a roller coaster, not just for the Belfast Giants fans, but us here at A View from the Bridge and all the changes that have taken place and personal things as well. But it's that'll be something that we'll aim to complete early in the new season. But please keep donating. If you are donating, please tweet us and we will chase that down. Do you think what it was, sis?
No.
I don't remember. Okay. I think we're gonna have to wrap it up there. You boys are on your way to Nottingham. Is it on Friday? Who's traveling Friday or Saturday?
Saturday morning.
Yeah.
You coming into Bristol, sis?
No, I'm coming into Birmingham. And Davey could potentially be picking us up as we lift through, but there's an opportunity. There might be an earlier flight that we might be just getting there left over to it, but I'll keep Davey updated about that anyway. But yeah, we're going to have a couple of pints on Saturday night because I haven't had a drink this year at a hockey match. So
we'll have to shoot Murph a message and see if he needs us to book a table for afterwards.
You did
try, mate. Can't get one.
It's typically got a table at the minute.
Can't
especially
get one.
And definitely not there.
Definitely not there. Can't get one.
Definitely not there. Because I tried to set one up just in case, or book one just in case, but
I've asked going to be on the reserve list, but it doesn't. You can get a table at 7:30, but that's no good to us because I'll be watching the semi. You might go on your own, but I'm watching the next semi-final.
But give Murph a shout. He was a bit of a chat off the record afterwards. He said about asking when you guys were going, so worth meeting up.
I've just had a text from Michael Barr.
Oh yeah.
As I say, Karen was ill. She was in hospital. I didn't say that she was in hospital.
Okay.
But it's just let us know that she's home now. She got home today.
Fabulous news.
Good for Karen. Not so great for Michael, but no. Lots of love to you both. Only
Yes.
joking.
Yeah,
absolutely.
that's live podcast for you. We can bring that news as it happens.
But I'm more interested because I'm going to live vicariously through Twitter this weekend. I'm more interested in where you're going to go for that pint. Is it going to be the Salt Box or Bunkers or somewhere else?
It's got to be Bunkers, mate, doesn't it?
Bunkers.
We'll be going somewhere where we don't have to pay to get in. That's for sure.
I know
You
you
have to pay the Bunkers.
No,
Salt
the Salt
Box.
Box you have to pay to get in.
No, you don't.
You do.
I'm not paying anywhere to get in for a pint. I'll bring a carry out and sit out the front.
The old-fashioned
We'll be at
cricks.
the pitcher and piano. Says
Yeah, I'll be
where
there.
we'll be.
Absolutely. Yeah, 100%.
It's fabulous. Well, listen, I'm very jealous. I wish I was with you boys. It's going to be a difficult weekend, knowing that what could be on the line for the Belfast Giants and keeping track of what's going on. And but I know you'll have a good time nonetheless. Big thanks to Tyler Beskorowany. Big thanks to Aaron Murphy for joining us. Thanks to you two gents as always for your input on the videos and the stuff like that. The only game we care about at this moment in time, 3 p.m. on Saturday at the NIC. The Belfast Giants, once again, are on the verge of something very special. The first hurdle to reach that is the Dundee Stars on Saturday, and we'll see where we go from there. You can get us at AVFTB on Twitter, on Facebook, YouTube, kingdomofthegiants.com, and on all your normal podcast platforms. Thank you very much, boys.
Thank you, Patrick, David.
And wherever you are this weekend, be it in Nottingham, be it at home, we hope you enjoy your hockey. We hope the Belfast Giants enjoy theirs. We hope they bring it home. And we'll catch you here next week on A View from the Bridge.